wife had a box of quilt binding that she had saved over the years to use, and a lot of it was just poorly put together, and she wanted a way to organize it in a meaningful way. So the first method I came up with was a roller with a slot in the bottom and a hole that you could rotate around an axis, and something to grab on the top shaped like thread just for fun. What I found though is that the hole in the middle to rotate around didn't really let the fabric slide very well, and so that didn't work. Plus it was a lot longer than she needed. My second attempt, which did work, I put the hole and the slot separate, but one thing I found that the top was fine to twist by hand, but if you had a bunch to do, then you didn't really have the ability to grab this and twist and have it stay in place. So I made something else for it. That was this. So then I could take the fabric, put it in the slot, put that on the piece, set the fabric through the slots, put the crank on. But as you can see, the crank fit really tight, but it did work. The problem too though is by the time the fabric got out here, there was nothing to hold on to, and this was just way too tight. You ended up pulling the fabric off, trying to get it off the top. So the next version, I made a much bigger one with the same parts, but with a slightly smaller turn piece, so that fit better, and then would come right off. So since the prototypes all worked, I printed 13 more cylinders to wrap the fabric on. So here's how it works. Thread the fabric through there, thread the fabric through here, put that on the post, get it started a little bit, then putting a little tension on right here, you can just roll it up. Put it in tight, pop the crank off, put the pin back in, and store it. Now the other advantage of this method is when you're getting ready to sew, you do the same thing in reverse and just pull off this end and it doesn't get tangled. So all in all, I printed this one, which didn't work because it was too long. This one, which didn't work because it didn't have a way to turn it other than by your fingers. This one here was the end result. The wrong size crank, the wrong size guide, and the final version, which has a bigger guide and the right size crank. One of the most exciting parts about all of this is that I could iterate on the design over and over to come up with something that would eventually work.